man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. If I had my life to live over again, I would have made a rule to read some poetry and listen to some music at least once every week. If the misery of the poor be caused not by the laws of nature, but by our institutions, great is our sin. We stopped looking for monsters under our bed when we realized that they were inside us. The love for all living creatures is the most noble attribute of man. I am not apt to follow blindly the lead of other men. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, not the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. The mystery of the beginning of all things is insoluble by us, and I, for one, must be content to remain an agnostic. The highest possible stage in moral culture is when we recognize that we ought to control our thoughts. In the long history of humankind, those who learned to collaborate and improvise must effectively have prevailed. Man selects only for his own good, nature only for that of the being which she tends. There is no fundamental difference between men and animals in their ability to feel pleasure and pain, happiness and misery. Freedom of thought is best promoted by the gradual illumination of man's minds, which follows from the advance of science. To kill an error is as good a service as, and sometimes even better than, the establishing of a new truth or fact. It is always advisable to perceive clearly our ignorance. I am not the least afraid to die. We are not here concerned with hopes or fears, only with truth as far as our reason permits us to discover it. We are always slow in admitting any great change of which we do not see the intermediate steps. The very essence of instinct is that it's followed independently of reason. A scientific man ought to have no wishes, no affections, a mere heart of stone. If it wasn't for sea sickness, all the world would be sailors. Light will be thrown on the origin of man and his history. How odd it is that anyone should not see that all observation must be for or against some view, if it is to be of any service. A man's friendships are one of the best measures of his worth. The imagination is one of the highest prerogatives of man. As for a future life, every man must judge for himself between conflicting vague probabilities. Man, in his arrogance, thinks himself a great work. In Switzerland, the slaves and masters work together.